Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rockstar Manifestors podcast. This is actually my first episode back after summer vacation this year. So I am excited to be back and I am looking forward to getting into all sorts of amazing topics. So I am diving in with this first episode back, talking about how the energy of fall, which we're in right now, can be associated and how you can work with the energy of fall for personal transformation, personal growth, by shedding, letting things go and making space to call things and attract things in that you desire to have in your life. So this is a part of a series, like a seasonal series. And so we are talking about how I talk about how the whole calendar year can be associated or compared to a lunar cycle. And so that goes by quarters looking at that. So we are in fall, which would be associated with the third quarter moon phase. And so I'm going to talk about how this time of year is really good for that energy of dreaming big, breaking free from stories, expectations, limiting beliefs, all the things, because this is the letting go time of year, and that equates to making space for new and amazing things. So fall is what I like to call, when I learned this process, this framework, the dreaming stage, the dreamy stage of the calendar of the season, the seasonal cycle. So all that we're going to cover today, and then much more as we move forward with this seasonal calendar, this seasonal cycle, which we are all a part of. And it's a beautiful framework to follow because it's perfect and it is exemplified for us by the moon and by the seasons of the year. So, diving right into, let's see here, fall is associated with transformation, right? Because we think of letting go, things transform, possibly from vibrant and lush to maybe not so much so, where the foliage dies back and where the leaves fall from the trees. But that is a form of transformation. It's transforming from one season into another. And it's not in a negative sense of letting things go. It's like, yes, the things that we are letting go have served their purpose, and or we're identifying that they are not helpful anymore, and it is actually beneficial because things need to die back in order to make room for new growth and new experiences for us as people. So shedding the weight of others' expectations is really what I'm diving into, focusing mostly on with this episode, because this is something that I have had various realizations about, but really it's just kind of been amplified lately, where it's just like letting go of others' expectations, and how I realized that I felt this discomfort. I felt this unease, if you will, for the majority of my life, thinking I had to follow a certain framework. I had to follow a certain game plan of what the expectations were, like the chronological order of events, like going to school, getting good grades, going to college, getting a career, buying a house, getting married, or, whatever order that. And so I felt this resistance to that. And for a very long time, I had the story or the belief that that discomfort was like that disappointment. Like I could not live up to the expectations that were placed on me by either myself, by others, by society, by school, by jobs, all the things. So I am going to dive into how I have let that go and encourage and invite you to do the same. And where I was going when I started that long sentence was realizing that the expectations of others, it wasn't that I wasn't living up to them. It was that I was actually trying to live down to them because my dreams, my desires, my ideas were bigger or different, right? I think bigger because it's more expansive and it was just beyond what I was trying to fit into this small container. And so it's not that it's a bad thing, it's simply information and this realization. And that let almost like the shackles fall off, right? There wasn't like this dread or this feeling of disappointment and trying to fit myself into a box anymore. It's like, oh, I have now expanded, created room for me to expand and follow those dreams. And that came with challenges, of course, and will continue to as I move forward. But that change of perspective was huge for me. So if it was beneficial for me, I'm hoping that on some level it will be beneficial for you as well, or a realization that maybe resonates with you as well. So fall is, like I like to say, the dreamy stage. So this is a good time to create vision boards. It's a good time to imagine what life could be like. This energy of possibility thinking instead of defeated or lack thinking. What could be possible? Allow yourself to dream big, and who cares how realistic it seems or feels? And it really doesn't matter that other people don't get it or don't agree or support your dreams. If they feel good to you, if they are genuine to you, if you're curious about them, then it is worth the effort and the time and the work to follow and pursue those. I made a post recently that said, your dreams believe in you 100%. They need you to believe in them because they don't give a shit about other people's beliefs in them. They care about your belief in them. Your dreams believe in you, and you reciprocating and believing in them creates this magic and this expansive possibility, right? So, um, why do we fall into the trap of living down to others' expectations? Like I said, because it's something that probably feels normal, right? It feels because it's been part of our story or part of our experience for so long that, we are either told or said, it would be great for you to go to college, or you need to go to college, or this would be a good career for you. Or even in school, when you take aptitude tests and things like that, oh, this would be a good field for you. And this is how you can best apply that. And I don't want to give the impression that I'm criticizing those people, because I'm not. They are giving us this information or guiding us or trying to nurture us based on what they would like for us, what they think is best for us. And I should probably say what they believe is best for us. I really don't think that at least the majority of the people go into this with saying, I'm going to hold you down. I'm going to do something that, push you in a direction that's bad for you. I do not think that is the intent, but they are coming and presenting and sharing and guiding from their perspectives, their stories, and their experiences. So when daydream or share or go into, well, this is kind of what I want to do, and they naysay that, or they say, oh no, that's too scary, or that's too difficult, or that's unsafe. That is coming from their perspective. And there may be components of truth to that, but really it's not, up to us to carry their fears and their beliefs with us. We do that because it feels so, oh, they're looking out for me, or they must know what's best. And after a certain point, we are really the only ones that know what's right for us, no matter how well-meaning other people are. So we fall into this habit or pattern or trap, if you will, of trying to fit into a box that is not the right size for us. It's too small for the things that we envision. And that doesn't always have to mean that your dreams need to be grandiose or, that change the world in some way. It simply may be that the area of focus is the wrong box for you, or the way that you want to use the skills that you have or knowledge that you have or knowledge that you want to go get may just not be in that right size container, right? So it can be any size dream, any field, any aspect whatsoever. It may just not be, or it's just not the right size container for your dreams and your desires that you want to be living, that you want to be experiencing. And so when people give us that resistance or they say that's too scary, it's unsafe, they are coming at us with stories that they have developed from experiences. Maybe they tried something one time, like they tried something big and they failed, right? They have this perception of failure and they don't want to feel that. And so they want to protect you from feeling that. But really, when we fail, that's how we grow. That's how we learn. And that's how we know what is right and what isn't right for us, because we try and we get information. So examples of how this plays out that I can share with you are that I have recently been shifting the dynamic of the job, the job muggle day job, if you will. And so that has become less and less, and I am putting more energy and opening up, creating more space for my business and contract work that I do for others. And so that shift feels very unsafe to some people. And they're like, but isn't there more security, more stability, more safety with doing your business on the side and having the job, the stable job be the primary? And that's how it started at first. And I said the words and had the desires for that to shift. And that is actually happening right now. That's in the process. It has been happening. And that shift is very much more of a reality now than it was before. And so it feels even to me a little bit unstable. But I've also done the work to realize that instead of looking at that like, oh my gosh, that's unsafe, it's like, no, it's possible for me to fill this space and to use my time to grow the things that feel good for me, that give me, that I get excited about, that I'm passionate about, and that I want to be doing, and that do not drain my energy, right? So it may seem unsafe, unwise, whatever to other people, but I know that I'm following my vision and making decisions based on my desires and what I want to be experiencing and my life to be looking like. So releasing the need to please others is part of that release aspect of this time of year. Tying it back to how the leaves the leaves fall from the trees, because it would actually, if the trees held on to those leaves and continued to give them the energy and the things, for them to thrive, the tree itself would die. So if you think of it that way, it is preserving itself for longevity by releasing the leaves and not sending energy to keep them alive. The leaves serve their purpose during the summer season and collecting the sunlight and doing all those scientific terms that I do not remember from school, and transferring that energy by collecting the sun. And now they are falling away because they have served their purpose. So things that you might need to let go, be it expectations, beliefs, stories, they have served you for however long you've had them. And they served a purpose for a while in keeping you safe, in allowing you the time to maybe develop new ways of thinking without experiencing the hardships right away, or not when you're not prepared for them. So know that it's not a criticism. Know that it's not a failure, and it's not any kind of judgment. So you should not look at that as a failure or judge yourself for having these beliefs. They served a purpose. Now that you're aware of them and you realize what is not a good fit anymore, you can now do the work of letting them go and learning to say no to the things that don't align with you. And so that's what we're doing, what I'm inviting you to do during this fall season. Identify the things that don't fit in your dream. dream big, create vision boards. And I have resources for you on how to do that, or like to create vision boards. That's my jam. I love vision boards. I like to say I take you from creating your vision board to living your vision board, and everything that goes, from creating it to living it, and supporting you and helping you become the person who is living that life that you create on your vision board. So letting go of the things that don't fit, that don't match, that don't align, and that are not moving you in the direction of your dreams. And you may be in a position where you've not allowed yourself to dream. You've not allowed yourself to think, what could be possible? What could my life look like? So I invite you to use this time, this fall season, to think, what could life be like? What do I want life to look like? What do I want to be experiencing? And the core question that I will come back to again and again and again to help you do that is, how do you want to feel? You don't even need to know what your reality that you desire looks like, but how do you want to feel? And so that is what is starting an intention. That's how you set an intention. The way that I have learned and the way that works for me is, how do you want to feel? And so in this time of year, how do I want to feel? And what's in the way of that? What is in my life right now that does not match up with that feeling? And that's how you start identifying what is not serving you, what is not helping you, what doesn't match. Because sometimes the stories might be so believable that we think, oh, this is beneficial for us, and so I need to keep doing this practice, or need to keep this habit, or stay in this, frame of thinking. But when you ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And it might take some time for that to come up. That's why we have a whole season to work with it. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And then you start identifying the things in your life currently that do not match up with that. And that's how you identify what you need to and can start to let go. So what big dreams do you have? Create vision boards, journal about them, and go back to daydreams that you had as a kid, or as a teenager, or even as a young adult, or even just things that catch your attention and be like, ooh, that would be fun to do. Take note of those things, right? And see if you can identify the feeling that connects with in you. It's not always readily apparent if you're not accustomed to thinking and paying attention to these types of things, but the more you do it, the better you will get at it. So a couple tips or not tips, but like suggestions that I would have, and I of course will have resources to help you, is to create a vision board. You can do this digitally. You can do this the old school way on construction paper. You can do it in journals. So many ways to create vision boards. And I typically will do a vision board workshop somewhere in the neighborhood of fall or early in the year. So keep an eye out for that if you're listening to this in real time. But that's not the only time I do that. So no worries if you're listening to this in the future and you think it's too late. It is never too late. It simply depends on your perspective, the time of year, the phase that we're in, and what you put your focus and energy towards, how you look at things. So never fear. It is never too late or a wrong time to start doing this work. And simply, nature and the cycles just simply give us something to follow. Follow a framework that works beautifully and perfectly. So the power of dreaming big. I'm not going to get too into details about intention here, but when you start with how you want to feel, that also helps you identify the actions to take that make you feel that way. But right now, staying in line with the season that we're in, fall, and letting things go, I again encourage you to identify how you want to feel, start thinking about it, and pay attention to the things that light you up and what feelings that you can connect with that. And then start taking a look at your habits. Start taking a look at your patterns, the people in your life, the things that you do by default, the activities that you're participating in and start evaluating whether they align and match with that feeling that you have identified or that you're working with. And so I invite you to also just take a bold step. Take a bold step towards your dream and sign up for a class, of something that you've been thinking about doing or that you've wanted to do. Go back to something that you loved doing as a kid or wanted to do as a kid and can now do for yourself as an adult. An example that I had several years ago, I started taking ballet classes as an adult. I took like dance classes as a kid, different types of dance classes. And I, love ballet, and I took ballet classes for several years. I even got up to the point to take to take point classes, like they were on ballet point shoes. And I did that. I think it was perfectly timed. My first point class was like on my 51st, no, 49th or 50th. I have to look back at the date, but it was on my birthday that I took the actual class. So this time of year, when we're thinking about dreaming big and identifying how we want to feel, start getting curious. And I invite you to be proactive. And the action to take is to investigate, schedule a class, do an activity, go on a weekend trip, whatever it is, to tap into that feeling of how you want to feel. Start taking action to feel that way now. And so the ways that I have to help do that, first of all, I talked about journaling, and journaling is something that you can do with anything, a piece of paper and a pen or a notebook or even a fancy journal, or you can make your own. So this is something that is accessible to everyone. And if journaling has historically not been your thing, or you just don't know how to go about it, I have a 30-day challenge that is called Manifesting Me with Music. And it's a scripting type of journaling, which is where you script or you write your life, the life that you want to be living. You write it out in present tense, like you're writing the script for a play or for a movie or for whatever, but you're writing the script of the life you want to be living, and you're writing it in present tense. And I love music so much. It is a key part of my life that the way I designed this challenge is 30 days of prompts. And the prompts include a song from my Manifesting Me playlist, which is included in the challenge, the playlist. It contains some song lyrics from, each day has song lyrics from a song that is on the playlist. And it also contains a scripting prompt. Like today, like for example, it's like write something about the day, your perfect day. And so the prompt will start you and you will finish writing that in present tense. And what I think is different about this challenge, one of the things, all these are, components I think are unique to this challenge being all together. But a key component that I think is different is, along with the prompts and the music and the song lyrics, I give you an action to take every single day. Some are bigger, some are small, some, maybe just like putting it on a calendar, but it is taking an action every single day for 30 days as that person, or in the vein of becoming the person, living the life that you are scripting in throughout this challenge. So this challenge is available for you to jump in at any time. So there is no waiting to start. You can join at any time, and that is your day one. You get a Facebook community that has all of the materials, and you also get all of the materials on a class site called Teachable, so you can access it whatever way you prefer. You get lifetime access to it, and also when I add new materials or I upgrade or I, include new things, you automatically get those things. So that is how I like to do things, because that's what works for me. If you have questions, email me. The best way to email me is vision, VISION, at bluemoonmanifestations.com. And the link to get that will be somewhere around where you're watching or listening to this. And also, like I mentioned it's included in the challenge, but you can also get the Manifesting Me Manifesting Songs playlist that I have created. That is a free playlist. So you can get that and start with that if you like. Check out the type of songs that are on the playlist. It is a free playlist, so it is also included in the challenge. So if you get the playlist first, you're not missing out, or out in any way, because it's automatically part of the challenge, because that's where I pulled the lyrics from. But you might want to check out the songs first and see if they are your vibe, if they do inspire you, and then jump into the challenge. Whatever works for you. All the information is somewhere around this video or where you're listening to it. So I'm excited to be back. I cannot wait to share your dreams with me on social media. Tag me, comment on my posts, or reply, or just send me an email. Let me know what your dreams are. And I will see you guys next week. Take care.